Hi, I'm Dr. Vicki Santos, and I'm a clinical psychologist at Samaritan Counseling Center of the Northwest Suburbs. I want to talk to you a moment about self-compassion. So, self-compassion is an issue that comes up when we have those times where we're often unhappy with ourselves and maybe being a little overly harsh, maybe a lot overly harsh with ourselves about something. And I want to let you know that self compassion actually breaks down into three components. The first of those components is mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is the ability to stay in the present without judging it so much, just being aware of the present, being aware of ourselves, being aware of our environment, but not feeling like we have to change anything necessarily, just noticing it and being okay with it for the moment. The second component to mindfulness is self-kindness. I frequently find that people need some work on self-kindness when they have a lot of shoulds that they're telling themselves, or they feel like they've failed on a lot of things. Of course, we all have times when we fail at things, but perhaps there is something positive to failing, such as what do we learn from it? That's a much better way to frame it for ourselves. It's a way of being more kind to ourselves. So when you find yourself with a lot of shoulds or feeling like you can't do anything correctly or have a positive impact on something, or you're just feeling really harsh toward yourself, think about working on self-kindness. The third component of self-compassion is having a shared sense of humanity. And what that means is that you recognize that you're not the only one that deals with these issues, that you are a whole lot more alike when you consider other people than you are different from other people. We have similar needs. Many people have similar desires, similar goals in life. We also have similar problems, struggles, issues. We are more alike than we are different from each other. So at this time during the pandemic, when I'm shooting this, you hear the phrase a lot, we're going through this together. We're all in this together. Certainly going through the pandemic is a huge example of some shared humanity and what that means. So, we all have times when we need to probably work on some self-compassion. It's unusual that I find anybody who has no problem with that whatsoever, but it's wonderful that it breaks down into these three components, and these three components are very workable. So again, the components are mindfulness, plus self-kindness, plus a shared sense of humanity. When we work on becoming more self-compassionate, I find that many times people become more compassionate toward others, and vice versa. As you become more compassionate toward others, it sometimes becomes easier to be more self-compassionate as well. So those two things reinforce each other in a lovely kind of way. The last thing I'll share with you is my favorite question for someone who is working on self-compassion. If you find that you are talking with yourself, you know, that little voice that goes through your head sometimes, that dialogue that you play or banter about, if you find that you are talking to yourself in a way that you would never talk to your best friend, then perhaps you shouldn't be talking to yourself that way. So the question is, am I saying something to myself in a way that I would say it to my best friend? Be kind to yourself. Be accepting that you're not perfect, That's a piece of shared humanity. None of us is perfect. And just be mindful of where things are for you now. And you can make choices about what to do about that in the future. So stay well, stay healthy, work on self-compassion if that's something that you need. And just remember, you're not alone in any of this. Take care. Bye.